Hello, I'm Meganova, and this is Pillow Talk, the series where I talk about something that I watched, or I guess now also played recently. Because recently, just a few hours ago actually, I played a whole bunch of Sea of Thieves with a couple of friends on my stream. You can find my Twitch down in the description if you're interested in watching any of those. Um, yeah, we played Sea of Thieves, and I felt like, even though this series had mostly just been me talking about movies, and would also be about me talking about TV series at some point, I felt like I really wanted to talk about this game as well. I might talk more about other games, probably gonna be mostly single player or stuff like that, so it's not gonna be me talking about a MOBA or anything. Uh, Mostly like these more like focused experience or whatever you want to call it. That's probably a completely wrong term to use, but um, yeah. But well, I kind of just wanted to give out my thoughts on it in case you haven't watched the stream, or in case you wanted it to be more specific. I really liked the game. But I would definitely say that you should play it with friends. Because I can imagine this game being extremely boring if you're alone. Because there's a lot of travel times between quests. Because the main system of the game is that you go on these missions or quests or whatever you want to call them to go and kill some skeletons, dig up some treasure, or whatever else it might be. Those are the main two that we got. Sometimes you can also find a message in a bottle that can give you some information of something. There's all sorts of things with that. And then you go back to an outpost, and then you hand in these things from the quests, and then you go back out. But, for example, if you dug up some chests, well, you'd better go to an outpost soon, because if you run into some, to other people, well, then they might board you and steal your shit. Like, it is very much a pirate simulator. As in, there's also basically forced PvP. But sometimes you can get lucky and you will barely run into anyone for ages. So it depends a lot. I'm not sure how their system is, if it's like when you make your game that you get into a specific server and everyone is on different servers, because like with the amount of popularity the game has right now, I would imagine the world would be a lot more populated than it seemed to be for us. So yeah, I'm gonna assume that there are several different servers that people just get put in when they log in. And one thing I especially loved, which is probably gonna be one of the things that is gonna be like the most divisive for people, is that you are really dependent on having people with you. I mean, you could go in alone and play on one of those tiny boats where you can be one or two people on. But I was with two of my friends. We were playing on a galleon where we were three people about that. And I would definitely say, as I said earlier, you should really play with more than one person. Probably, I would say three or more, or well, you can't be more than four, but 3 or 4 people would absolutely be preferable. Just because of how the entire thing works. Like, there is no like regular map display. So if you're the one at the at the wheel, well, then you kind of need someone down in the map room to tell you which way you have to go to the place that you're planning on going. Because or else you're gonna have to be running up and down all the time, and that would just be really fucking annoying over time, I'm imagining. And nobody really wants that. So, but yeah, that's, it's just a lot of fun. And they have a lot of things in the game that makes it even more fun when you are playing it with friends. Like, you can play music. There's a harmonica and another thing that I'm not sure what is called. I think one of the guys I was playing with called it a hurdy-gurdy. I mean, I've heard that name before, but actually, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna look that up quickly. I hope I can actually... Hurdy-gurdy. Oh yeah, that is what it is. It's a hurdy-gurdy. So you can play a hurdy-gurdy or one of those, like, old-timey harmonicas. And whenever you start playing them, there is a preset of like 5 or 6 songs that you'll start playing. I think one of my favorites is that they have like a sea shanty version of Flight of the Valkyries. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I do hope that they add more to it in future. And especially, I would really love if they would make you able to, like, maybe play your own songs? Make your own songs, even? Like the system that exists in ArcAge, where you can create your own sheet music. Like, I mean, I can't do that, but I'm pretty sure that would be a lot of people who would make that you could go and copy paste from a wiki or whatever. Like, I imagine that would be super popular. Sorry for the cough. We streamed it for about 6 hours, and for pretty much throughout all of it, I was talking in this like like that stereotypical piratey voice, and that fucking destroys your throat. I have a hard time believing they would actually be talking like that all the time, because holy shit. But I guess that would explain why they were so fucking hoarse all the time. Because they simply destroyed their vocal cords by talking like that all the time. That's at least, that's my official headcanon from now on. Yeah, what else were there? We also mentioned at one point that the game seems a slight bit unfinished still. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're still updating it and they're still adding things to it, which I'm glad about. I mean, we didn't get too far, but then again, we also got into some PvP and had our ship sink a couple of times. Sometimes because I am a terrible captain. Or, yeah, rather, I'm not very good at steering, so sometimes I just steered us right into things. Although we did start to, like, get a system where if I was about to fuck up, they would just go down and drop the anchor, so we could minimize the damage to the ship. And also, we got attacked by the Kraken. I did not expect that we would actually... like, I had heard that it could happen, but I in no way expected that it would happen to us in our first play session. But it did, and from what I heard from my chat on Twitch, was that was actually the easy one. And we ended up spending every single one of our cannonballs, and we had to resort to using our fucking guns to kill this fucking beast. I even got killed during the fight because it apparently has mouths at the end of each tentacle that it can grab you with and just eat you with. And what it also does is it like drowns you. And apparently they did kill the tentacle, but it had put me so far underwater that when I finally got up, I had drowned. I think that was it, or maybe it was because of the ink that killed me. I'm not sure what it was. I do like the death system in the game. And also, if you lose your ship, like if you lose your ship and you die, you will respawn at a random island, mostly one of those really small ones. But sometimes you'll revive at an outpost, which is really nice. But then you will revive there with your ship, which is nice. So if your ship goes down and you then die, you will revive somewhere where your ship has also been restored. But the thing is, the ship has been reset. I don't think it'll reset like items you buy for it later on. We weren't able to afford anything extra to put on it, so we wouldn't know. But at least like because you have 3 main storage units in the storage area. You have like you can put the main food is bananas. And that is basically just for healing. And you have a barrel where you can put your bananas in. There's a barrel to put in wooden planks that you use for repairing the ship. And there is a barrel for cannonballs, which is, yeah, it's self-explanatory. And where was I going? Oh yeah, there's also different factions that you can earn reputation with. And when you earn enough reputation, you can get like special items from them. You can then go on special missions with them. Because that's how you gain reputation with them. You do missions for them. And that's pretty cool. I like that system. We didn't get very far. I mean, we're still kind of learning how the whole thing works. Well, I feel like we did have a fairly good grasp of it by the end. It's also really funny that you can actually fire yourself out from cannons. Like, I mean, you can't get someone to do it for you, but you can also just hop into a cannon and fire yourself off. And that is actually a really practical way to either board an enemy ship or to just get close to an island. Because of course you can't sail all the way up to every island. Some of them have like are like really shallow near the shore. So if you're in something like a galleon like we were in, like it is mostly you'll want to just park your ship some ways out and then shoot yourself off from this. Sometimes you'll be on islands where there's also a cannon on the island, and if you park your ship in the right place, you can shoot yourself back again. Unless you have a treasure chest, because you can't go into a cannon with a treasure chest, which I guess makes sense. But you can swim with it, and you can crawl upstairs with it. I guess they thought they didn't want to be completely realistic. They thought some things were better at just being convenient, which I can appreciate. Like, I don't need, and I mean, it's a game where you fight fucking pirate skeletons and the Kraken can show up. Like, I didn't expect 100% realism, you know? So, I'm fine with that. But, yeah, I mean, my main point really is, if you want to play this game, you really should get some friends and have them on voice comm. And go just full on pirate role playing. That is absolutely the funniest way to play it. The most fun way to play it is like that, in my humble opinion anyways. So yeah, I think that is mostly what I have to say about this game for now. I mean, I'm absolutely gonna be playing more of this. Like we had so much fun, and we only made about like 2,000 gold. And if you want to get anything cool, you need to get like at least 10,000 gold or something. There's with this one specific hat I really want, and it costs fucking 13,000 gold. So it's gonna be quite a while before I can afford that. So yeah, at least you can't get your gold stolen. You can only have like the loot you are going back to the outpost with stolen, which I think is good. Also, oh yeah, I completely forgot to mention the death system. When you die, you are temporarily placed on the Ferry of the Damned, which is this ghost galleon where there's this floating ghost who is sailing it, and basically you are just the door into where the captain's quarters would usually be. After some time, that door kind of explodes, and it's this like dark greenish void, and you go in there, and then you resurrect. If your ship is still above water, you'll just respawn on your ship. But as I mentioned earlier, if your ship has been sunk and you respawn, then you are respawned on an island. And also, I think if your ship sinks and you are inside it, you will respawn at that island as well. But what happens if the ship just sinks, or if you get too far away from your ship? This merman will pop up and ask you if you want him to teleport you to your ship. So there are some pretty cool fantastical elements that they use to make the game a bit more convenient, so as to not be completely tedious. But I do also still like the emphasis on team play. Like, when you have to hoist the anchor, well, if you are more than one person pulling it up, it goes faster, because obviously it would, because the burden gets gets separated, or not separated, but it gets shared, I guess. So you go faster around and pull it up quicker. And also, of course, in terms of having to pull down the sails, adjusting the sails for the wind, and you can see the trails of the wind up in the air, so you can see how best to angle the sails to get the most speed out of it. Like, there's a lot of cool things like that in the game that I really appreciate. So, yeah, in conclusion, if you want to play this game, I mean, I guess you could go alone, but I would absolutely recommend that you find some friends and go full on role playing with it. That seems to be the most fun way to do it. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me for this time, and I will see you on the high seas. Aye, matey!